As the government shutdown is set to become the longest in history this week, the central fight is whether to extend expiring subsidies under Obamacare. Democrats have been demanding an extension, while Republican leaders say reopen the government first before anything else. Caught in the middle is the American public hurt by this unfolding crisis. So how will this get resolved? Joining me now, a Republican congressman, who's also a former Democrat, but now an ally of President Trump's, Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey. Congressman, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Good to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Republican leaders have said they will not consider this extension or any extension over these expiring Obamacare subsidies until after the government is reopened. But as you know, Americans are starting to see their premiums rise, including in New Jersey, where some families could be forced to spend as much as 30% of their income on health care. Given that, are you okay with the way your party leadership's been handling this issue?
Look, I'm fine with the way they've been handling it because I really want to give what I think is an objective viewpoint to this, not a partisan one. We're just simply asking to keep government open. When I say we, I mean Republicans. You know, for those watching and listening out there, the continuing resolution is a little mini budget for 7 weeks. It's Joe Biden's budget. There's nothing in there from Trump. There's nothing in there from Congress. There's nothing Republican in there. It is a continuation for 7 weeks of Joe Biden's budget. It is unparalleled and unheard of that the, Democrats would not support this and vote for it. I know why. Because if Chuck Schumer was to cooperate and vote for it, then the most radical part of his leadership is really going to go after him.
But Mr. Van Drew,
you can't negotiate.
I was just going to say, you've raised concerns about health care and the impact of having a plan or not having a plan for the GOP. What are the political ramifications for Republicans as we head into the midterms if the GOP does not come up with a plan on health care?
Let's be clear. We need to get the government open to do all the things we need to do. Republicans want to do that. Let's be equally clear. As soon as we do that, we've immediately got to start doing something about the Affordable Care Act subsidies. It is very, very important, those tax credits. It is not fair to the American people. Many of them depend upon it. Now, should we change it? Absolutely. I think in the beginning, we need to do a renewal with some minor changes, moderate changes, and then look for a better system and work for a year and make sure we come up with a better system. This has failed. It's cost a fortune. It's been wonderful for the insurance companies, but not good for the government, not good for the taxpayer either.
But are you concerned about the backlash from voters if the GOP does not come up with a plan here?
Yeah, it is politically stupid. It does not make sense to come up with no plan dealing with health care. That's real. That really helps people. And this is, let me explain something. I'm a conservative, and there's a lot of conservatives in the Republican Party, but just like Trump is, I really believe he is, whether you like him or not, a populist conservative that cares about real people. You can't be the party you know. You can't take health care away from people. You have to have a plan, and the plan is to come up with something better. That's not going to happen in a few weeks. That's going to take a good part of a year to have something substantive and real that works, and we can do that.
What did the president say? I know you spoke to him recently. What did he say when you talked to him about this?
He doesn't think Obamacare is good, either do I. We look at how much the cost has gone up. We're subsidizing a subsidy now. The insurance companies have done wonderfully. The drug companies do wonderfully. The president feels that it isn't good, but he totally understands where I'm coming from. And he does not, again, like him or not, I obviously like him, but whether you do or not, he does not want to hurt people. Those are the conversations I had with him over Medicaid in the past, where we did come up with a good compromise plan. We need to do the same thing with health care. It is, I'm telling you, the midterms are going to be a whole lot harder if Republicans just sit there and say, we're just going to let it lapse. We're not going to do anything. That's unacceptable. And I'm going to speak up about that. As you know, Jen Kiggins and I led a letter where we had 13 members of Congress on that letter that said, as soon as this is over and the shutdown is over, we have to go forward and do something real about health care.
During this shutdown, the Speaker has made a decision to keep the House out of session since September 19th, all in this effort to pressure Senate Democrats to accept the GOP plan to reopen the government. But Democrats simply are just not budging. And the House has really done no legislative business at all for more than 6 weeks. So, Congressman, are you okay with the Speaker's decision to keep the House out of session for well over a month?
The speaker, he makes the decision, and we work together to make that real, to make it work. However, I really do want to get back and work. I wish we had, actually codified and done some of Trump's executive orders and made them into statutory law. I think we can do two things at once. So I respect the speaker. I support him in what he did. If I don't want to be the speaker ever, but if I was, I would have had us come back and work on all those other issues, but not to be held hostage by the Democrats.
But you
What
do
they're
want the House
saying is
back in
fake.
session. But you do want the House back in session.
Yes, but it's not, we cannot make opening government contingent upon getting a health care plan done, because we wouldn't open government for months.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen that quickly. You can't bang that through in a few weeks. So they're being disingenuous in what they're saying in the Democratic Party.
So, Mr. Van Drew, you've been on the campaign trail in New Jersey. Voters, of course, are going to elect a new governor this week. Wondering if you think Tuesday will be a referendum on President Trump and his policies.
I don't know. You know what? Maybe a little bit, but it's also about the individual state. Look, Jack Ciattarelli in New Jersey's got a real chance. I really think he's going to win, which is amazing in itself. It's extraordinary, understanding that there's almost 1 million more registered Democrats in this state than Republicans. So it's something we've never seen before. It's very, very rare. However, it is about the affordability in New Jersey, the cost of everything, the taxes, the tolls, the fees, the being a sanctuary state, and most of all, the cost of energy. One of the reasons Jack is doing well is because energy has gone up tremendously under this administration. They closed 5 gas plants down, 1 nuclear plant, had no substitution or replacement except to subsidize foreign companies for windmills that fail.
But just very quickly, if Democrats do win the governor's race in your state and in Virginia, and do you view that as a warning shot to the president and the Republican Party?
No, I don't. I really don't. I think it has to do with Virginia, and I think it has to do with New Jersey. Now, if we had half a dozen swing states, remember, we're not really a swing state as much as just some folks say. We're still a purple state. I believe we're going to win, by the way.
Yeah.
But if we had half a dozen swing states that went Democrat, all of them, that would be different. These are Democrat states. If we win, it's extraordinary, and it's really good news for Republicans. If we don't make it, say, in Virginia, we're going to make it in New Jersey, but wherever, that's sort of to be expected.
All right. Congressman Jeff Van Drew, really appreciate you coming on this morning, joining us and sharing your perspective. Thanks for your time.